Hello, everybody. This is going to be a short explainer on how to use Debate Sensei, the online forensics course by Proto Communications. We're really happy to be presenting this to as many different teams as possible. So let's get into it. The way that this course works is that first, students sign up for a team course, and this team course has 5 units with 22 lessons. Each one of the lessons that you see here has a video component, a professionally produced video. Many of them have quizzes, not all of them quite yet. All of these lessons are about how to participate on a forensics team in general. It does go over a few of the types of events that there are in the Introduction to Forensics unit. But the most important part of this particular course is the selecting an event lesson. It explains how to sign up for events. So, if students want to jump to that one because they already know what event they want to do, they are free to do so. You will want to watch that explainer because there is a unique way to sign up for any event that you want. What happens from there is that when students sign up from the forensics team for a particular event, it triggers a few things. Let's take an example. Let's say that a student knows that they want to do prose as the event. When they fill out the form, it automatically enters them in the prose course, but it also enters them into a category course for oral interpretation. Oral interpretation has many different events, and many of the lessons covered in that applies to all of the events underneath it, whereas the prose course itself specifically has a checklist of things that students need to do in order to prepare that prose event from the very beginning of having nothing to a final finished performance that they can take to a tournament. Furthermore, if a student wants to do more than one event, let's say they want to also do poetry, they can go back to the same form, fill it out, this time saying they want to do poetry. And since they're already in the oral interp course, the category course, then it doesn't add any more courses. So this particular student in this particular example would be enrolled in 4 courses: the forensics team with the 22 different lessons, the oral interpretation course, which has a number of lessons that you will see soon, and the prose course and poetry course, each with a checklist that students need to complete in order to have a fully prepared event. Let's continue on with this example and say that this student in particular wants to do another event, but they want to do persuasion. This means that they would also be entered into another category event because the category of platform speeches has unique lessons that apply to persuasion as well as the other platform speeches, but does not apply to the oral interp events. If this student signed up for these 3 events, they would be enrolled in a total of 6 courses. Let's say that the student wants to do IPDA debate. They would be enrolled in the debate course along with the IPDA event course. And so they would have 8 total events that they were doing. Our program, Debate Sensei, has all of the events that you would expect to find at most tournaments that you would attend. All of them have professionally produced videos, many of them with quizzes attached to them, as well as the checklists for preparing your event. Let's take a look at a little bit more detail of each of these category and event courses, starting with oral interpretation. The oral interpretation category lessons are 18. There's we have one event lesson with an example, but you can see that the category lesson has things like book work, which is how to use your black binder, which is common to all 5 events within the oral interpretation category. Also, characterization is something that is common to all of the events as well. But when you sign up for the event course itself, it has event preparation steps that starts with the search for literature that you're going to use for interpretation, cutting it, putting it into your book, and then performing and timing it all the way down to a final polished performance. If you were to do each of these preparation steps, many of them are written assignments that are indicated in blue. These written assignments are submitted using Google Documents. The other assignments are recorded assignments, and we use our AI speech coach, Udely, to record and submit those as well. For the specific types of programs that you may sign up for, you could request feedback from coaches, choosing which ones you want. In this case, for example, marked by the stars. The platform category has 28 lessons. Too many to list here, so you could see them numbered by the units. There are several lessons before you get into the event preparation steps, but you can see in the platform events like persuasion and informative that there are more written assignments than you would get in an oral interpretation event. All of those would be submitted with a Google document, whereas the other elements where you are memorizing and performing are outlined in red. Again, you can choose which ones that you want to have human feedback with if you get that particular type of program through our course. The limited preparation event is kind of a different beast. There are different event lessons, category lessons, but there are fewer written assignments because more of them are recorded and performed. Limited preparation is usually taught by doing the event over and over again. Again, you can choose which ones that you want to have human feedback if that is your preference. Lastly, we have our debate lessons, which we have the most category lessons out of all of them. But there's also event lessons, and as you can see, that all of the preparation steps are actually recordings because debate is typically learned by performing and doing it as well. In addition to the event categories, if you wanted to come back for another season, you can start a new season and move up to the next level of the event. There are a total of 4 levels. So you would start at Pros 1 in your first season, and if you wanted to do a Pros in your second season, you would move on to Pros 2. The only difference is Pros 2 doesn't have any of the lessons that precede the preparation steps. It just provides you with the preparation steps that you need to do to start from zero to a finished, polished performance. We are very excited to be offering this to as many different teams, schools, and clubs as possible. We think that it would add value, and we can't wait to see students using this as much as possible. Thank you very much.